So if you look at the middleweight division in the UFC right now, and you look at who deserves a title shot, you may think, well, Robert Whittaker, if he wins his next fight, might deserve a title shot. You know, he's coming off a win of Paulo Costa, and, you know, probably win this next fight in Saudi Arabia, so maybe he'll deserve a title shot after this, but UFC didn't think that. You may think Sean Strickland deserves a title shot after having a very close split decision who many people thought he won against Dricus Du Plessis, the current champ in the middleweight division. And after that, fought Paulo Costa also. And UFC didn't think that either. How about Israel Adesanya in his last fight, which was almost a year ago now, came in, got absolutely whooped for 5 rounds, could barely land a single punch on Sean Strickland, and took almost a year off, been inactive, and does he deserve a title shot? The fans don't think he deserves a title shot, and but the UFC does. So, recently, Israel Adesanya announced in Perth, Australia, that he'll be fighting Dricus Du Plessis in one of the most undeserving title shots I've ever seen in the history of the UFC. So, I don't know why they couldn't have given a title shot to anybody else, like literally anybody else in the middleweight division. That's a bit of a stretch, but there are so many other options that they could have done for who deserves a title shot or title shot elimination fights. Like, I know, what I think the UFC was thinking was we'll have the winner of Whittaker versus Chimaev fight for the title, and then Chimaev pulled out of the fight, and they're like, well, we don't really want Whittaker fighting. He's going to have to win like 5 in a row before they give him another title shot. But they really wanted Hamzat, and now that he's out, they just decided to give it to Izzy for some reason because he has Dana White privilege. But I really think Sean Strickland should have probably gotten an immediate rematch against Dricus Du Plessis because I thought he won the fight. Most of the fans thought he won the fight. Dana, Joe Rogan, they all thought he won the fight. But regardless, it was one of the closest title fights we've ever seen. And it was a really good fight, and the fans are wanting it. So why doesn't the UFC care about the fans who bring in all the money for the UFC? And like, it's just stupid. You're losing fans when you do this, but if you look at the fight, because there's nothing we can change now, if you look at the fight, Dricus Du Plessis versus Adesanya should be an interesting matchup because we have Dricus Du Plessis who puts every bit of power he can behind all of his shots. He's trying to knock you out with every single shot, and he has very good fight IQ and is very able to adapt to his different opponents. So should be really interesting, and he's a pretty good wrestler. He was able to take Strickland down in their fight. Even though he got up, Strickland is a much better grappler than Adesanya. Adesanya only has a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Sean Strickland has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and if you look at Sean Strickland's early fights in the UFC, he was a wrestler who would take his opponents down and hold down, ground and pound, submit people sometimes. So that's the kind of fighter he used to be. So he's just a really good grappler naturally. And Adesanya, I think Adesanya could get taken down, but I think he could also knock out Dricus Du Plessis by just finding him, because Dricus Du Plessis throws every bit of power he can in his shots. He's open to be countered. So I think this should be interesting, and I think either one could win depending on whether the fight's standing up or on the ground. But I don't know what the UFC's doing. Like, you guys keep making bad decisions. You keep making bad matchups like this, and especially in the recently in the middleweight division. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Like and subscribe. I want to get to 50 subs so I can start live streaming. So make sure you subscribe, and see you guys later.